picturesque Lusk Reservoir here at West Point, and what a great way to start off our new venture here on GoArmySports.com. It's the first episode of Black Knights Weekly. Welcome to it, folks. I'm Rick Johnson, and we hope this will be your one-stop shop for everything Army sports. In our first episode, we have a one-on-one interview with second-year head coach for the men's soccer team, Russell Payne, a special feature on the position change for one Army volleyball player, and we'll talk with the quarterback of the Army Black Knights football team, Trent Steelman. But first, let's take a look back in the week that was in Army athletics. The volleyball team got things going as they hosted the Black Knights Invitational at Gillis Fieldhouse. The Black Knights took home the title after defeating Hartford, UMKC, and Bryant over the two-day event. Freshman setter Mary Vaquero was named MVP after averaging just below 12 assists per set in the three matches. Friday night saw a doubleheader at Clinton Field. The men's soccer team was up first as they hosted Marist in their season opener. After falling behind 4-1 at halftime, the Black Knights battled back to tie the game at 4. However, the Red Foxes would retake the lead and go on to win 6-4. Freshmen Elliot McGilbra and Sean Mogan recorded their first career goals in the match. In the nightcap, the women's soccer team hosted Central Connecticut State. The Black Knights outshot their opponents 34-15, but the match would end in a 0-0 draw. Senior goalie Monica Lee recorded a career-high 7 saves. And on Monday night, the men's soccer team was back at Clinton Field, this time hosting Manhattan. With 36 seconds left in the first overtime, freshman Devin Purley found junior Josh Copey to give the Black Knights the 1-0 win. Coming up after this short timeout, Rich DeMarco will sit down with second-year men's head soccer coach Russell Payne. That's coming up on Black Knights Weekly.
Army fans, there's no better place to be before a West Point football game than Black Knights Alley. Open 3 hours before kickoff, come out and avoid the traffic crunch. Black Knights Alley features fun for the whole family. From the Black Knight Walk to face painting and autographs with Army athletics teams and mascots, to live music, food and beverages, inflatable games, interactive displays, and the live broadcast of the Army Football Tailgate Show. There literally is something for everyone. So make a day of it. That's Black Knights Alley, 3 hours before every Army home game along Mills Road. Army football, more than just a game.
Welcome back to this edition of Black Knights Weekly. Rich DeMarco going one-on-one with an Army head coach, and this week it's second-year men's soccer coach Russell Payne. Russell, thanks for a few minutes here on Black Knights Weekly, and congratulations, your first victory of the season Monday night in overtime against Manhattan.
Rich, thanks a lot. Yeah, it was a good feeling the other night. The boys did really well, and they responded from a tough Marist game where we scored a lot of goals, but gave up, a lot of goals as well. So it was good to get the week started this way.
Year two for you, of course, there have to be a ton of differences from year one to year two, but how much more comfortable, how much maybe easier has it been getting into the season this year as opposed to last year?
I think anybody who's been here for more than a year will tell you your first year on the ground at West Point is quite a learning experience. You have to educate yourself and become educated about all the different aspects that it takes for someone to be successful here, and for a cadet to be successful here. You have to understand that as a coach and what it takes, and it takes time. It takes time, and it takes daily checkups and reminders, and it's not just about what happens in between the lines on the athletic field, especially at West Point. So, after your first year here, you get a better sense of that, and understanding how the time constraints work, and the different challenges that the cadets have, and then you go from there.
Russell in college, a successful all-ACC goaltender at the University of Maryland, a professional career, then an assistant coach at Maryland and part of a national championship team. That experience as a player, collegiate, professional, and as an assistant coach, what were maybe a couple of things that best prepared you for this head coaching job?
I look back on all those experiences, and the things that prepared me the most were the hardships, I think, and the pressure cooker. Being in an intense environment where things don't always go well. You got to learn how to rebound from those things. You have to learn how to adapt, and you have to learn how to perform under pressure. I think those are the things that I took the most out of, bouncing all over Europe and all over the States playing professionally. Sometimes things go well, sometimes they don't. You learn how to build relationships with people. You learn how to maximize your time and your efficiency. Being at a place like Maryland where we were very successful when I was there as a coach and as a player, it wasn't always that way. It wasn't that way every day. It wasn't that way every week. It takes time to get to that point, and it's perseverance, and and like I said before, with being at West Point, it's daily reminders, daily checkups. It's all in the details. So, and it's an intense pressure cooker environment where it's results oriented, and at the same time, you're constantly aware of, hey, am I developing these young people to be the best they can be on and off the field?
Russell, one of the things you've stressed in talking to us has been culture and attitude. How much can that help a talent level? Is that something that maybe people look at and maybe underestimate a little bit, culture and attitude, how much that could help a team be successful?
For me, that is next to talent level. That is the most important thing, and at times it's probably more important, to be honest, because you can have the talent, but if you don't have the right attitude, you don't have the right approach, your talent's only going to take you so far. Conversely, if you have the right attitude, you have the right approach, and you work hard enough at developing that talent base, as a team, you can get pretty far. You can do pretty well. So you got to have the combination of both. But very few teams have been successful at every level in any sport purely based on talent. There has to be a belief system. There has to be an approach to doing things the right way that gets you over that hump. And I talk to my players all the time because there's examples out in the professional world all the time of people who don't do things well, do things right, but they seem to be successful. And it all has to do with, well, how much better could they actually really be? It's not how successful they are, but they could actually be a lot better than they actually are, depending on if they had the right approach. So those are the models, and those are the lessons, the daily lessons that we try to instill within the guys.
Russell's a player and a coach under legendary Maryland head coach Sasho Cirovski. How much of an influence has he been on you? How much do what you do is based on what you learned either as a player or as an assistant coach?
Tremendous amount. I think I've said this many, many times. Outside of the influences that my nuclear family have had on me, my mom and dad and my brother and close relatives, Sasho is probably the number one influence. From turning me into a punk kid coming out of high school into college into a young man that had the ability to, like we talked about, build relationships, do things right, have an approach to trying to be your best every day. It wasn't easy, and I didn't always agree with him, but I understood, hey, the process and the end result are going to be a benefit. So that is what I learned as a player, and then obviously keeping in touch with him when I was playing professionally and coming back and working with him as a coach. It was just a reinforcement of those lifestyle ideals and how to do things, and learning how to help others now become their best and reach their potential. And there's probably no greater example than what he presented to me, in my developmental years as a coach and as a player.
Well, Russell, thanks again for a few minutes here on our first edition of Black Knights Weekly. Congratulations on the first win of the season. Best of luck throughout this year.
Thanks, Rich. Thanks for having me.
And that's Army men's soccer coach Russell Payne joining us on this inaugural edition of Black Knights Weekly. I'm Rich DeMarco. More of the show coming up in just a moment.
Join the Army A Club today and support cadet athletes 12 months a year. Members of the A Club receive priority consideration for parking, seat locations, pregame hospitality, as well as Army-Navy tickets. But the benefits don't stop there. The A Club also gives members access to special receptions and events throughout the year. To join, visit the A Club link at goarmysports.com or call 845-938-2322. The Army A Club, supporting cadet athletes.
This season, sophomore DJ Phee won't just stand out for her aggressive play on the volleyball court. She will now don the opposite colored jersey of her teammates after moving from outside hitter to libero this spring. Even though her approach is different, Phee hasn't let that overwhelm her.
In the sense of where to be and where to stay on defense, it was a little bit because it's a different spot on the court. But when it all boils down to it, it's all defense. So I think that more so how I needed to act towards my team and my role on the team changed a lot. So that was probably the harder part.
This past weekend, Phee averaged just below 4.5 digs per set in her first collegiate matches at libero, helping Army win the Black Knights Invitational. Fifth-year head coach Alma Cavacci says Fee's athleticism and positive personality have made the transition to libero seamless.
And that's the great thing about DJ. You can put her anywhere and she'll say, yes, coach, I got it, coach. And I think that's amazing to find a player like that. We consider a libero as a team captain, the captain of that defense. And she has the qualities to be a great libero. And her leadership, her work ethic, and her attitude on the court will make her a great libero.
Cavacci says Phee is the precise player to take over at the position, and the Texan is using some of the skills she learned as a hitter to help her in her new role.
I love when a hitter is just like hitting and hitting and hitting and they can't put the ball on you. Like, nothing's more frustrating. I think it's probably more frustrating getting dug over and over as an ex-hitter than getting blocked.
Both coach and players say now is the time for fine-tuning. Phee has narrowed in on one area to improve on, her mental game.
When you're a hitter, you know, you can shank a ball or mess up serve receive, and then you can go and get a block or a hit. But this needs to be where I get mentally stronger and I say, okay, I messed this pass up. Only thing I can do is get a pass, so serve me again.
Phee looks to give opposing hitters fits at her new position. With the Army volleyball team, Rick Johnston, Black Knights Weekly. On Saturday night, the Army football team will open up on the road at Northern Illinois, and one of the Black Knights' most experienced players is quarterback Trent Steelman. Rich DeMarco has an in-depth look at the Army signal caller.
When Trent Steelman takes the field at Northern Illinois on Saturday night, he will do so as one of the most experienced quarterbacks in the nation, but one who barely is through the midway point of his collegiate career. The junior from Bowling Green, Kentucky, was named the Black Knights starter prior to his freshman year and has not relinquished the helm since, leading Army to its best two-year record in almost 15 years and the program's first bowl game victory since 1985. Steelman is set to make his 26th consecutive start on Saturday, already second on Army's all-time list, and is projected to break Lehman Hall's 30-game start streak by midseason.
You know, you can't think about it. The only thing I can really think about is how blessed I've been and to be able to have this opportunity to start as a freshman and just to stay healthy. I mean, being an option quarterback or being a quarterback alone is not easy to stay healthy through all these games and the competition we're playing at. So, like I said, I've been blessed and it's been a fun ride, and just to be able to be out there in front of all these fans and this great organization, it's been a fun ride.
With so much experience, but still so much time left in his career, Steelman has made the most of his offseason. Last year, it was work on his throwing. This year, the signal caller worked on precision.
That's the big thing in the passing game, especially in our passing game, because everything's based off our timing and our footwork, and you don't get many opportunities in this offense to throw the ball, but when you do, they need to hit big, and they need to hurt the defense. And so Brooks and, you know, Stevens and McFarland and, you know, E.J. Tucker in the offseason, we made a promise that we're going to get out there, get those extra reps in, and, you know, it showed.
Meanwhile, head coach Rich Ellerson says that Steelman has come into his own physically for this 2011 season.
He's got those starts, he's got that physical toughness and resilience, but now he's a stronger, faster version of the same guy. And those trials and tribulations that they've gone through in their first couple of years here now add to the equation. We should expect to see him continue to be more and more productive and more precise in his play.
And while the Army offense is filled with veterans, Steelman feels the reloading of the offensive line, which will feature 4 new starters, may be the key to the Black Knights' success.
I think we're going to be as good as they take us. We have some good quality explosive guys that know the offense, know the system, and have a good understanding of what they need to do to be successful. So right now we're sitting back, we're still learning, but at the same time we're moving. So we're just looking forward to get out there on Saturday and showing what we got.
And hopefully for Steelman and the Black Knights, it leads to continued success to start the 2011 season. For Black Knights Weekly, I'm Rich DeMarco.
After this short timeout, we'll take a look at this weekend in Army athletics.
Army football tickets are on sale now. Don't miss a minute of the day-long excitement at West Point's historic Michie Stadium, the greatest place to watch college football. Come out on Saturday, September 10th. The Black Knights take on San Diego State. Kickoff is at noon. It's Salute to Heroes Day. All police officers, firefighters, and emergency medical personnel can purchase tickets for just $10. Call the Army ticket office at 877-TIX-ARMY or go online at GoArmySports.com. Army football. It's more than just a game at West Point.
The men's and women's cross-country teams kick off the weekend Friday afternoon with the Army Open at the West Point Golf Course. Head coach Troy Ingle says the goal is to see how his runners look in a race rather than just in practice.
It's a good opener for us on our tough course. Our course at home is tough. The ski slope makes it a great equalizer. But we're excited because it'll allow us to compete hard at home without really having to butt head-to-head with too many teams that were worried about our performances, how they stack up against them.
It will be a busy holiday weekend for the men's soccer team. The Black Knights travel to Virginia for a match with VMI on Friday and return home to take on Seton Hall on Monday. Head coach Russell Payne expects a lot of excitement before Friday's showdown with the Keydets.
Playing against a fellow academy is always, a hot-blooded, hotly contested affair just because of the pride at stake and everything else. And we're looking forward to it. They have a very athletic team, a team that did well in the conference last year. I think it was one of their best conference finishes in 8 or 9 years. So we're excited about it. We know it's a challenge. It's always a challenge on the road. Going and trying to get points away from home at somebody else's venue.
Back at West Point, the women's soccer team will host the Black Knight Classic on Friday and Sunday. Army takes on Seton Hall Friday night and Stetson Sunday afternoon, with Colgate playing as well. Head coach Stephanie Golan likes the positives that come from hosting a tournament.
I think a lot of people, when they come to play in the tournament, they get a greater appreciation for the beauty that this place has to offer. And being able to play in front of our home crowd is always a good thing. And we're excited to have some good opponents and to have a quality tournament this weekend.
The volleyball team heads out west for this weekend's Pacific Community Bankers Classic in California. The Black Knights will take on Duquesne, Pacific, and Mississippi State. Head coach Alma Cavacci is keeping her squad focused on themselves leading up to this weekend's action.
You can only win 1 point at a time, so that's what we're focusing on. 1 point at a time, one set at a time, one game at a time. Right now we can't control what they're doing, but we can control what we're doing. So if you saw today, I've been putting stats out there for that purpose, to make sure that we fix and clean up our game.
On Saturday night, the Army football team will make their long-anticipated return to the field when they travel to DeKalb, Illinois for a matchup with Northern Illinois. After last year's success, head coach Rich Ellerson says his team will be ready to go when the lights come on.
Last year's football team raised expectations. They raised the bar for everybody. We understand that where that bar is a real challenge for this group, but they're excited to take it on. They didn't come because it was going to be easy, and they expect it to be challenging, and they are, and they prepared well for this. They prepared physically well coming into training camp. They've had a good training camp. They can't wait to find out as well.
So that'll do it for the first episode of Black Knights Weekly. We hope that you enjoyed watching it as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. For everyone here at ITT Night Vision, I'm Rick Johnston. We'll see you next time.